Hello folks, and welcome to a new episode from the Plugdata course for beginners. Today I'll be showing you the core technique for audiophile manipulation. Before moving on with this video, make sure to watch this episode of the series where I talk about simple audiophile playback. Now, what I mean when I talk about audiophile manipulation, I'm referring to the process of loading an audio file into an array, changing its playback speed, but before doing that, retrieving essential data like audio file length, sampling rate, calculating the playback rate for original playback speed. Now, some of you might be thinking, why should I watch this video when there's play.file that plays the audio file for me without thinking too much about calculating the playback speed ratios and stuff like that? And what about player tilde that has multi-channel support and has this super handy float box to change the playback speed of your audio file? And what about grand.player that provides independent time stretching and pitch shifting? The answer I give my students is computer music, it's all about the process. The process you choose defines the final result. And the deeper you understand the behind the scenes, so the process being used by these modules or objects will make you a better sound designer or musician, sound artist, whatever. Okay, so in this video, I want you to focus on the process. That's why I decided to talk about these core techniques. We can start by creating an empty array, and we want to load an audio file. So we use open panel. We can add a bang to open the computer file browser. Then we need a message that says read, since we want to read the audio file. We also want to resize, so dash resize the array, and we pass through the symbol of our file path. So it's passing through this $sign, and we specify the destination, which is array 1. Okay. And then we use sound filer to actually write the audio file into the array. And out of these two outlets, we can retrieve the number of samples. And out of this one, which outputs a list, I want the first element that is the sample rate. So we can get the sample rate by unpacking just the first element. So unpack F, you can copy and paste this float box. So here we have sample rate, and here, number of samples. We can open this drum loop. Then it might be handy to visualize the file length in milliseconds or seconds. So out of this outlet, we can add a semps to millisecond. This will convert the number of samples into milliseconds. So here we'll see the result in milliseconds. And if you want it in seconds, you multiply it by 0.001. And then we can add a float box. So let's reopen the same audio file. And here it is, 2,500 milliseconds. At this point, I want to read through the array. And to do so, I want to use tab read all tilde. And if we take a look at its help file, we can see that it is used to build samplers, and it is more flexible than tab play that we've already seen in the video about audiophile playback, simple audiophile playback, since it uses this 4-point polynomial method, which allows for pitch shifting. Now we can use a phaser, and we can set it to a low rate like 0.1. Now this phaser goes from 0 to 1, and we can use this scope. Maybe we can decrease the samples per point so it's more reactive. and its range from 0 to 1. Okay, so the phasor goes from 0 up to 1. And this is not useful since this value, 0, 1, would correspond to the first and second sample contained within this array. So we have to multiply the phasor by the total number of samples. And here we have it. So we can use multiply at audio rate, and we can grab this value and send it here. Since I don't want this crossed connection, what we can do is we can send total samples or samples. Okay. And here we can receive samples. Okay. So we multiply the phasor by the total number of samples, and then we send it to tab read. Now, tab read needs an argument that is the array name, which is array1 in my example. Output, so that we can listen to, we need to re-trigger this value. Let's reopen the audio file. Great, it's working, but we have a problem. The phasor is moving too slowly, so we're reading through this array at a really slow pace. What if we increase this value? Well, we'll hear the pitch going up. But how do we calculate the right speed, the right frequency for our phasor? Doing so, it's actually very simple. We just need a division sign, well, theoretically, and we divide the sample rate by the number of total samples. But if we execute this operation, let's reopen the sample so that we can re-trigger these two values. The division did not produce any output. Why is that? Soundfiler outputs values in the following order, starting from the right outlet, moving to the leftmost one. So we first send the sample rate into this hot inlet, and we know that hot inlets trigger the operation. So here we divided this number, 44,000, by 0, which is the value at which each operator gets initialized. And then we received this total sample numbers, but this number was sent to a called inlet, which does not trigger the operator. So first of all, we need a trigger object, bang float. We send the total number of samples into this trigger. The float box goes into this called inlet. The bang here is sent to a float object. We want to send the sample rate, okay? Called inlet. We want to store the sample rate in here. And then with the bang produced by the trigger object, we send this sample rate to the hot inlet of our division sign. So it's a bit tricky, but hope you'll understand. Okay, so of course we need to send it to the phasor object. So let's open the same audio file. Here we have the frequency for our phasor. Let's take a listen if it's working. Yeah, original playback speed. Let's change audio file. So far, so good, but we have no method to start or stop our audio file. I just used this mute and unmute button from the output module, but this is not the right way to do it. So what I have in mind is add some sort of message like 0 that freezes the phasor at its current position, and then a new message with the current speed, the current frequency, like this value. And we can use a scope also to visualize the phasor position. Signal range 0 to 1, and we can decrease the samples per point and buffer size. So 0 stops the phasor, and here we can re-trigger it with the previous frequency, the previous pace. What I want to do is a little bit complex, So stick with me. We want to use a toggle, okay? And we need a trigger bang float. Now, we need a float object and a multiplication. I want to save my playback speed inside this float object, rightmost inlet. So it's a called inlet. Then I want to send the toggle state here into this rightmost inlet multiplication. And every time I trigger this toggle, I send the value 0 or 1 inside this multiplication. At the same time, I want to bang this float object, which will contain the actual playback speed, which is sent inside the multiplication object, hot inlet. It will execute the operation and output the playback speed. So if it's 0, well, we first need to send the current playback speed. So if it's 0, we get 0. If it's 1, we get the playback speed multiplied by 1, so the current playback speed. This connection can be deleted since I want this one. Let's tidy up this patch a little bit. Great, so let's test it. Every good sampler has a super handy slider or knob for playback speed, and I want to make one. So here we can add a horizontal slider, and what we want to do is we want to insert the value, the playback value, in here inside this float object. So what we can do is we can change the playback speed range. So the slider goes from 0 and we can set 0.36249, which is the original playback speed. And we need a trigger bang float. Okay, so the float goes here and the bang here. Okay, hope you can see the connection. Okay, now let's test this. The speed control is working, but it is not adapting to new samples. So here I loaded a new audio file that has playback rate 0.14. And if we enter the slider inspector, we can see that our values remained the old one. So we have 0.3625, which was the previous sample playback rate. So how do we update this value automatically as we load a new sample? Well, we can use a message that is range. We can define a custom range at which we want to map the slider. So let's use $1, $2. So we use these two variables. And I want my $1 to be half speed. So I take this number and divide it by 2. Oops. And then I want the $2 to be original speed, 100%. So this value can be sent directly to the range message. But we cannot send two values independently. We need to pack them. So we use pack float float. In this way, I send the half speed and original speed, 100%. We need to fix the execution order. So I want to have control over the way these two values, 1 and 2, are sent to the pack object, since this called inlet, this hot inlet, is triggering my list. And I want my list to be triggered only when it has received both elements, both values. So trigger float, float, and my playback speed is first sent to the rightmost inlet, called one, and then it's divided by 2 and sent through the hot inlet. Okay, now we can send this list to the range message. Let's tidy up this section a little bit. And since I don't like this crossed connection, okay, I can use send slider range. Can copy this identifier. So here we can send the slider range. Here we can select the slider. Under receive symbol, we can paste the identifier, hit enter, and now the values are minimum 0, maximum 0.36. If I update this value, okay, and we re-enter the inspector, here we have the new values: 0.07 half speed, 0.14 full speed, original speed. So let's test this, maybe with a drum break. Let's see if everything is fine. Yes, it is. So full speed, half speed. And that was all for today, folks. Part 2 of this video is available as always on my Patreon page. We'll keep working on this patch and I'll show you how to play back segments of your audio file. So I'll teach you how to define a start position, end position. I'll teach you how to implement a cursor to visualize the playback position, and we'll experiment a little bit with playback systems. All of this on my Patreon page. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to write a comment, like this video, and subscribe to my channel. That being said, take care and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao, ciao.